It is coming up to 18 minutes to 8. And if you were listening to yesterday's Sunday Supplement programme on Radio Wales, you'll have heard some very strong words from the former Education Minister, Leighton Andrews, now a professor at Cardiff Business School. He said that a toxic culture has been created by Cardiff University's plan to cut 400 jobs and axe courses to address a £31 million budget gap. This is some of what Leighton Andrews told Vaughan Roderick yesterday.
What they have done is, frankly, destroy trust and goodwill within the university, and morale at the moment is through the floor. And these are the people you need, the academics here, to boost the university in the future, to do the groundbreaking research that is needed and the innovative work. But at the moment, everybody's focus is on their own jobs.
Is it toxic?
Is the culture toxic?
Yeah.
I think it feels very toxic. I think there is a climate of fear in the university about speaking out. Maybe I'm in a more privileged position than most, having been involved in this area of policy for some time. I'm not afraid to speak out, but I think there are people who are very afraid to speak out at the moment.
Now, the University and College Union is balloting members for strike action to fight compulsory redundancies. Cardiff University says that the proposals are currently subject to a 90-day consultation. That'll end in the summer. Dr Andy Williams is a senior lecturer at Cardiff University School of Journalism, Media and Culture, and he's also a member of the UCU. Bore da, good morning.
Bore da.
What did you think when you were listening to that interview yesterday? Did it chime with a lot of what you're hearing?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It was very brave of Leighton to speak out, especially given that so many of my colleagues and our fellow members in the UCU feel afraid for their jobs and unable to do so themselves at the moment. But what he said was absolutely correct. Cardiff Uni haven't been meaningfully engaging with the branch so far. There's been nothing approaching social partnership with the unions, despite the Welsh Government emphasising that that's what's needed. Since announcing the cuts, they've only met us twice. They've been very slow to respond to our requests for information, and when we do get information from them, the data is often unusable. Professor Andrews said that they're giving the impression that this is a bogus consultation, and it's really hard to disagree with that. The same goes for engaging meaningfully with staff. How are colleagues meant to come up with counter proposals to these swinging cuts when they're frightened for their livelihoods, when they're frightened for their lives, and they're existing in this kind of climate of fear that you heard talked about there? Now, we've taken them at their word. We've developed a workable, costed, more gradual plan to the ones that they've tried to introduce now about a month ago. We hope that they will kind of, engage with us and consult with us in a way that is indicative of true social partnership. But if they don't, like you say, the ballot papers are hitting our members' doorsteps, our doormats at the moment. We're urging our members to give us a thumping mandate for strike action and action short of a strike, like a marking boycott. And if they don't come around and consult with us meaningfully, they're going to be faced with very disruptive industrial action. And we don't want to do that, but they're edging towards that and not giving us much of a choice.
Of course, Cardiff University is not alone. Bangor University, the University of South Wales as well, all announced job cuts, or plans to do so at least. You'll know about the financial model, the difficulties with that. It's a bit of a perfect storm, isn't it? So elaborate a little bit on what you think the university could be doing here that's different to what's being proposed.
Absolutely, for sure. Well, we haven't got our heads in the sand about the problems that are facing the sector or about the problems that are facing Cardiff University. We need short, medium and long-term action at the political level in Cardiff and in the UK to change the way that higher education is funded if we want to maintain universities like we've always had them. And there's no doubt about that. But in Cardiff, the financial situation is somewhat different to many other universities. They insist that these kinds of disruptive cuts are needed. And when you push them, on why, it's so that they can be making really quite big surpluses on their budget year on year, 80 to 90 million from next year in their proposed plans.
Why do they say they need that?
Well, we've
to
pushed them on
buffer
that.
against some sort of economic headwinds to come?
Well, we haven't had a satisfactory answer on that. They say sector averages is the reason why they want that. But we're in a really difficult situation here, and you don't sacrifice 400 jobs for sector averages. What we do have at Cardiff Uni, that many other universities don't have, is huge pots of accessible cash that we can draw on. We've got 188 million in readily accessible cash. Now, we recognise there are
reserves, essentially, yeah?
Well, sort of, yeah. They're held there. 144 million is money that's left over from a bond.
Because the concern is that if you use sort of... sorry to interrupt you.
No, not at all.
The concern is if you use reserves, as you well know, you can only use it once, right? And so that's not sustainable in the longer term.
Yeah, sure.
But, there are different people saying that maybe an exception should be done this time.
Well, we're not saying that we should use them to postpone the inevitable. We're saying that we should use them in order to fund a more gradual recovery plan. We agree we need a recovery plan to put Cardiff Uni's finances on a healthy setting, but we don't need to be doing this tomorrow. And we don't need to be making such huge surpluses tomorrow. And this is money that's there kind of for a rainy day, isn't it? And it's raining hard, and we've got 400 members' jobs on the line. They need to be funding a more gradual recovery, drawing on the cash that they have, and not destroying people's lives and the future of the university.
Diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much for joining us. That's Dr. Andy Williams, Senior Lecturer at Cardiff University.